The Frankly Speaking Root Camp, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and in that virtual studio this morning, we have Greg Tranter. Good morning.
Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for being on the show. I thought this would be so appropriate as right here on Big Fox, Bills take on the Panthers this Sunday at 1, so who better to speak to than you?
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited about it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, so tell us about, because your story is quite amazing. You know, obviously in our area, not everybody, but a lot of people call themselves Bills Superfan, right? But I think you've put your money where your mouth is in many different ways. Tell us a little bit about your passion about the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, so I've been a Bills fan since I was 8 years old. My dad took me to a game, and I fell in love with the team and the sport.
Sure.
And obviously I've been a fan ever since. I also started collecting from my first game. Actually still have the ticket stub, the program, and the bobblehead my dad bought me.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, like typical kids at that time, I collected football cards. And when my dad took me to a game, which wasn't very frequently, maybe once a season, once every other season, I would collect the game program and the ticket stub. But I really got interested in football, got interested in kind of sports history. And then when I graduated from college and I had my own money, then I started collecting.
Yeah.
And really got into collecting. I wanted to collect the history of the team. Then I became a season ticket holder, and I started buying basically everything that had a Bills logo on it.
Oh, no.
And at first it was all the trinkets and, you know, football cards and stuff like that. And then I got really serious about, I wanted to collect every program from every Bills game because I wanted to collect the history of the team.
Yeah, wow.
And then I got into three-dimensional objects like game-worn jerseys and football helmets. And so over the course of 50 years, I've amassed the largest Buffalo Bills football memorabilia collection in the world, which is basically about 108,000 artifacts, 8,000 three-dimensional objects, and about 100,000 ephemera or like paper.
Right.
So that would be football cards, programs, newspapers, stuff like that.
Did I hear, someone told me the other day that they're not doing the hard copy programs anymore?
That's correct. They stopped actually. The Bills did. Some teams still do. The Bills stopped with the season of the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Though, of course, they didn't have fans then, so they didn't print anything then. Now what they do is they have a media guide that they print for the media that cover the team.
Okay.
That includes about 20 pages that are specific to that game. So it really replaces the program for the media.
Okay.
Luckily, I have a friend in the media who ends up giving me
the copy.
Those copies, yes.
But there's no chance of opening up the book to page 39 and winning some big award or whatever it was.
No.
And those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
It's heartbreaking.
And of course, they also don't print tickets by and large.
Right.
However, they do for me.
So you've got even special collector's edition tickets at this point.
Right.
And here, we'll throw it on camera here, but actually have the book on relics. So tell us, maybe just for some people that are tuning in, like some of the neater or maybe more rare collectibles that you have in your artifact collection.
Yeah, I mean, probably among the most rare is the Bills wore blue and silver jerseys in 1960 and 61 only because Ralph Wilson was part owner of the Lions, and so he brought Detroit's colors to Buffalo.
Okay.
And the first 2 years they were blue and silver, and I have a blue and silver jersey that Art Baker wore. And for those people who are Syracuse University fans, Art Baker was a fullback for SU during the Ernie Davis years when they won the national championship.
Okay.
Well, he played for the Bills, and I have his jersey of the blue and silver variety.
Wow.
Of course, I have every program from every Bills game played until they didn't print anymore, which is pretty rare, both home and away, not just the home games. Probably one of the more unique artifacts is, for those who remember Jack Kemp. So Kemp was a quarterback for the Bills in the 60s, led them to 2 AFL championships. Well, he ended up running with Bob Dole as his vice presidential candidate in 1996. Well, the Secret Service guarded Kemp during the campaign.
Okay.
He had 2 lapel pins that are Buffalo Bills standing Buffalo helmets.
Okay.
As lapel pins that he wore.
Yeah.
And I got those from a Secret Service agent that guarded Kemp.
So do you find that because you have such an amazing collection that people start to seek you out to want to include things in the collection? Yeah. Does that become overwhelming?
Sure. No, not overwhelming because it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Do you have a personal favorite?
Well, yeah. So I have Scott Norwood's helmet from Super Bowl 25.
Wow.
And I've had people say, like, why would you want that?
Right.
Like, I would burn it or bury it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I said, no, it really is what Buffalo's all about. Mm-hmm. It's a very resilient community. It keeps bouncing back from negative news. Mm-hmm. You know, it's had a tough time economically for a number of years. And that was Norwood and the Bills.
Yeah.
There's not a more resilient team in NFL history. You know, lose 4 Super Bowls and keep coming back for more. Right?
And their fans keep coming back for more, too.
Right. That's right.
Now, is there a place that people can see some of these artifacts?
Yeah, so the Buffalo History Museum. So I've actually donated the collection to the Buffalo History Museum.
Oh, wow.
And they have an exhibit called Icons, which is all about Buffalo sports history, professional sports history. It's not just about the Bills, but my collection is at the centerpiece of the exhibit.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And so there's like game-worn jerseys of, you know, Bruce Smith, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Kent Hull, Henry Jones, O.J. Simpson, Jack Kemp, are all on display.
Now, are you still attending all the games?
Yeah, I go to all the home games. I'm still a season ticket holder, so I go to all the home games, and then I usually go to 3 or 4 away games. In fact, I was just in Atlanta last Monday night.
Oh, wow.
The Bills game there.
How do you think, through your collecting and attending all these games, how do you think you've kept the passion all these years?
I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
And well, I think part of it too is Buffalo is such a community that it's you're not just going to a football game.
Right.
It's like a community event. And there's so many people there that you know, and then even people you don't know, you know, as you know, but you know, Buffalo people are so genuine and accepting and so on and so forth that it's just a big community party every Sunday.
Right. And so you've got how many books out in total?
So I have 7 books out. One's coming out actually this week or next week.
Okay.
Which is a book about the 50 greatest games played at Highmark Stadium from 1973 to 2025.
How do you put something like that together? Because also I read that you want to do a bio for every Bills player that played during the 60s. All of that seems completely overwhelming and impossible.
Well, the biographies, I'm working with a group of people, so I'm not writing them all by myself. Okay. Which helps. And actually, the book I just did on the 50 greatest games, I teamed up with a friend of mine, Bud Bailey, Bud was a Buffalo News reporter for a number of years. So we teamed up together. Actually, it's the 3rd book that he and I have done together. So that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I mean, my passion is really, I love the history and the research, finding it, and then the writing actually becomes relatively straightforward.
Well, because it's kind of fascinating when you hear about players back, especially in the 60s and early days of football, where they even had to have like a part-time job, right, to stay as a professional football player. We don't need to talk about how money's changed, I'm sure, a lot. But I would almost think it would be difficult to track down a biography or to come up with a biography for every player in the 60s.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, like with newspapers.com, which has so many of the newspapers now online, I basically go back to, like, what was their hometown?
Oh, sure.
And their hometown has a tendency, like, if the Buffalo News didn't say much about them,
right,
their hometown newspaper
of course did. Right, yeah.
Right?
Hometown boy makes good, right? You got to...
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And you've written for a lot of magazines, and this is a little off topic, but I saw in your biography you wrote about the first professional football game played under the lights. And I thought this was interesting only because of where we are broadcasting from.
Yeah, no, what's amazing to me is Elmira, New York, is the first city to host a professional football game played at night.
Wow.
And it was November 21st, 1902. And it was played at what was called the Maple Avenue Driving Park.
Okay.
which was basically a bicycle track. Because
Okay.
bicycle racing was
Yeah.
very popular.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's where Dunn Field's located today. So the amazing thing to me when I found out about it, it's like, oh my God, I played high school baseball at Dunn
Right.
Field.
Yeah, right.
I played on that same field.
How cool is that? So, where do you get your ideas when you're coming up for a new book, or you're writing for magazines, or you're doing all this? Is it just something that you find that you get a passion for at some point?
Yeah, it's interesting where they come up. I mean, this latest book, I knew I wanted to write something about Highmark Stadium when it was closing.
Right.
Because I've spent so much time in my life in that stadium. I definitely wanted to write something, and it just came that the 50 greatest games seemed like the thing to do.
Right.
Some of the other ones, like the Buffalo Sports Curse that I wrote,
Yeah.
that came out when I actually in 2003 when the Yankees beat the Red Sox in the American League Championship Series on the home run by Aaron Boone. It was like, oh my God, the Red Sox are cursed. And then I read a book about the first World Series that Boston played in.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea they were born in Buffalo and moved to Boston.
Oh, I didn't either.
So then it was like, oh my God, there's a curse here then. I think Buffalo sports is cursed.
Yeah, yeah.
So the ideas just, they just kind of almost come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So because you've got this new book coming out, what do you think of the new stadium? Obviously you haven't seen it yet, but I'm saying, what do you think of the idea of moving to a new stadium?
Well, I was actually opposed.
Yeah, yeah.
One, because of the history of the current stadium, and I spent so much time there. The second is I knew the cost to the fan would skyrocket.
Right.
Because that's the NFL model. Like if you go back and look at the last 20 years, every time the NFL puts up a new stadium, the ticket prices double. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what's happening in Buffalo. I mean, I'm sure the amenities will be wonderful. The seats will be more comfortable. All of that. I just hope that Bills Mafia is not priced out.
Right. And because I was shocked to hear about kind of the hoops you have to jump through for season tickets with the cost and like that. That seems.
And you got to pay a personal seat license.
Yeah.
And that, of course, that varies depending on the seats in the stadium, but it's anywhere from $2,500 to $50,000 per seat.
Wow.
And then the ticket prices themselves have almost doubled.
Yeah.
So like today, I pay $175, and the new stadium is $320.
Well,
per ticket.
And that's what I always thought was so nice about having Buffalo so close to us, because very often I knew a lot of people that had season tickets, and you might get a ticket for cheap because someone can't go that week, and you have those family and friends that meet up at every single game. I'm afraid that some of them, instead of bringing your two kids and your wife, I mean, how can you even afford it? Season ticket holder.
It's going to be $1,000, $1,500 day.
Yeah.
And how many people can afford that, right? So that's what, so I'm just worried about that. But like I said, you can see it from the outside of the stadium. I'm sure it will be beautiful.
Yeah.
But I just hope it doesn't take the atmosphere that we have, because our atmosphere is so unique.
What does because you've been to so many games, what does your game day when you're attending look like?
Well, it's a little bit different today. What it used to be when I was younger is we would show up at the stadium at 8:30 in the morning, and we would tailgate,
of course,
from 8:30 to noon. And that's where and it was like I didn't necessarily tailgate with all the same people all the time. It was like, sure, we had our group, but then it was the people that park next to you, and you get to know them, and you tailgate with them, and you share food and drinks, and then we would, of course, attend the game. And then it was funny, after the game, I would stay after the game and walk around the stadium picking up extra ticket stubs and anything that somebody left behind that was related to the game.
Oh my gosh. So other people consider it garbage, and you're going, I need that for my collection.
Right, exactly.
Has there ever been something that you had in your grasp, collector's item wise, that you weren't able to get? Like it was that one dream item?
Well, geez, I don't know. That's, sure. I mean, there's a jersey that I have a Bills jersey of every kind that they've made, except one. In 62 and 63, they have a jersey that has stripes on the shoulders, and they only wore it for 2 years, and I've never found one.
Wow. Well, if anybody's watching, right?
Right, exactly.
We'll get you in contact. Oh, so that's interesting. So that's the only one you're missing. This is also fascinating. So with the new book, which is coming out very soon, how long does something like that take to write? Because there are so many games to cover and kind of do. I know it wasn't just you alone, but still, it must take a while.
It's usually a book is about a 2-year process.
Okay.
It takes about a year to do the research, the writing, and all that, and then the publishing process is about a year.
Oh.
The publisher reviews it, they edit it, they send it back. I also am responsible for finding all the photos that I want to go in the book.
Okay.
So that takes some time. So it's basically a 2-year process. The 2 books that have taken longer than that is the Curse book, because it was so much research, because it covers every professional team in Buffalo sports history from 1900 forward.
Wow.
And before I can tell about how each team is cursed, I had to basically tell you what the team was and their history, right? The second one, which is a book that will come out next year, I'm doing a biography on Ralph Wilson,
who was
the original owner of the Bills and, of course, owned the team for 54 years.
Yeah.
That book has taken 4 years to research and write because he has an incredible history, not only in professional football, in his business life, in his military service. It's an incredible story that people don't fully understand.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a book out on him.
I am too, which is part of the reason I wrote it.
Yeah.
Because when he was elected to the Hall of Fame, and then 10 years later, he's the only owner in the Hall of Fame that doesn't have a biography written.
Oh, wow.
So I approached his widow, Mary, 5 years ago and said, "Hey, is somebody writing Ralph's biography?" And she said no. And I said, "I'd be happy to write it." And she said, "That would be great."
Perfect.
So that'll come out next fall.
Have you found that you've gotten, through the years of doing your research and like that, got to know the teams and former players and things like that pretty well?
Yeah, it's amazing. If you would have told me, 10 or 15 years ago that I would know Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Lou Picone and Mark Bramer and I would have said no way.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things is my season tickets.
Yeah.
Jim Kelly and his family sit directly behind me.
Oh, behind you. Wow. That's power there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, out of all the games that you've attended, do you have one that sticks out as the most memorable experience?
Well, to me, and it's actually not even the number one in the book.
Yeah.
But for me, the number one game is the 51-3 win over the Raiders to win the AFC Championship and go to Super Bowl I.
Yeah.
Because at halftime, we were ahead 41-3.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And that season, believe it or not, I booked a flight and a hotel the day after Thanksgiving, confident that we would go to the Super Bowl.
Wow. Some would say that's jinxing it.
Right. I was that confident. And then, of course, they lose that Sunday. And it's like, no.
Well, you can always get a refund, right?
Right.
What do you think? Everybody probably asked you this, but what do you think about the team this year?
Well, I was feeling really good until the last 2 weeks. Obviously the bye week came at a really good time. They need to reset. Yeah. I'm hoping that Brandon Beane will pick up a receiver. I'd love him to get Chris Olave. He would be a great add. They need a stud receiver. I'm just hoping that Sean and Bobby Babich can put the defense together. Obviously they've had a lot of injuries. They got a lot of players coming back in the next couple weeks. So I'm still confident. We'll find out in a couple weeks when they play the Chiefs.
Right.
We'll find out where we are, but with Josh, anything's possible.
And they take on the Panthers this Sunday right here on Big Fox. That's at 1. So through all the games that you've watched and you've attended, what do you think of the changes? People always talk about this, but the changes to football through the years.
Well, obviously it's become a hugely offensive game. It's now entertainment. It's not a football game. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm a historian. I like the 1970s and 80s. Where you had a combination of now it's almost too offensive. It's really hard for the defense, and then the way the kickers can kick 60-yard field goals.
Wild.
no lead is safe.
Yeah.
No lead is safe. I mean, look at the Giants game this past weekend.
Yeah.
You thought they won the game and they lost it.
Yeah.
Well,
before we go, 2 last questions here. You've got the Ralph Wilson book next year. What's up after Ralph Wilson? What's next?
Well, I think I'm going to actually do a baseball book.
Oh, okay.
Buffalo had a baseball team. The last major league team in Buffalo history was in 1914 and 1950, called the Buffalo Buffheads.
Oh.
They were in the Federal League.
Okay.
Which is considered a major league.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool story.
Okay.
And I'm into cool stories.
Yeah. Well, it sounds it.
So I think I'm gonna do that next, unless of course the Bills win a Super Bowl, then I have to do a They Broke the Curse book.
Yeah. The part 2. Would you say out of all your books, was that the most popular? The Curse?
No, actually the most popular is the Timeline book.
Oh, okay.
The Buffalo Sports Timeline, the Bills Sports Timeline. And I think because it's heavily illustrated with lots of great photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say my best researched and written book is the Curse book.
Yeah, gotcha. So before we go, where can people purchase the new book, One Bills Drive, the Buffalo Bills Greatest Home Games, 1973 to 2025?
So, of course, it's on Amazon. It'll be in Barnes & Noble. In fact, in January 30th, I'll be doing a book signing at the Barnes & Noble in Horseheads.
Oh, I'll have to make a note of that. So if you think of it, make sure to drop me an email. When is it?
It's January 30th. It's the Saturday, the week before the Super Bowl.
Perfect.
Hopefully the Bills will be going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, perfect. And maybe we'll have you stop by the studio and do something quick to promote it.
That'd be great. I'd be happy to do that.
Well, thanks for giving us so much time, and thanks for the books. I can't wait to dive into them, and best of luck with the new one.
All right, Frank. Hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.